Previously on the Meteoris.
Gotta go.
And now, Meteoris and a couple of others are in Indiana doing a video of some kind, and they forced me to do this narration as a lazy transition from the last review to this one.
Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because One Art Forum wasn't enough, and we're back at it again in Indie PopCon in Indiana to talk about another My Little Pony comic.
You sure you don't need me to help you with this one, Media Wiz?
No, kid, I can do this one by myself. Besides, you helped me with the Guardians of Pondonia review a couple weeks ago, so just go, enjoy the convention. Yeah, but Wiz, do you think that's a good idea? I mean, like, what if something comes up, or what if you guys just go and enjoy the convention? I'll catch up with you guys a little later. I have to do a comic review.
Oh, okay.
Alright, you're the reviewer, you do it, we'll just head off. So what do you want to do first, kid?
I don't know. There's not a lot of My Little Pony stuff going on, at least according to the schedule. So I think I'm just gonna find a place to park it and read my Little Pony manga.
You're still reading that thing? I thought you would have had that done in a couple of days, if not a couple of hours.
Well, if you just want to run around and check out the convention, you can, and I'll just sit here, read my manga, and we can meet up some other time.
Well, I mean, there is the convention going on, and there is that one Doctor Who store I wanted to check out. Are you sure you'll be okay here all alone?
I spend most of my time on another planet with fanboys and fangirls everywhere. Besides, if we get separated, I could just call you.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. All right, well, I'm gonna go do all that, and if you need me, just call me, all right?
Have fun.
Anyway, last time we talked about the MLP Transformers crossover comic, so now we're going to look at a crossover of sorts, if you will, but this time it's going to be a crossover with the ponies from G4, as well as the 80s ponies from G1 in My Little Pony Generations. This series of comics was released in October 2021 and ended February this year. Like the other pony comics, it was published by IDW and was meant to be a sort of conclusion to the G4 era of ponies, seeing how the G5 movie was released that same month. You know, back when Hasbro and Netflix were partnered together, and Netflix pretended to give a crap about animation. Yeah, Netflix just sucks now, doesn't it? As for the crew who worked on it, it was written by MLP comic regular Casey Gilly, who's also had a fair share of other comic work from Star Wars to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The artwork was done by Michelle Cacciatore, and apologies in advance if I get some of these last names wrong. And she's mostly known for her work on various comics, from Disney to Soleil Productions. The lettering and color work was done by IDW regulars Heather Breckel and Neil Uwatake, often known for their works on other comic tie-ins for franchises like MLP, Sonic, Plants vs. Zombies, Transformers, etc. And lastly, there was the comic editor Megan Brown, who's been a part of a ton of popular comic tie-ins for a bunch of different franchises. Seriously, check out this woman's catalog. She did stuff like G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, and Godzilla, to My Little Pony, Care Bears, and Napoleon Dynamite, apparently. But enough of the build-up. Let's see how they cross over the ponies from the 80s to the 2010 ponies with My Little Pony Generations. Let's start with issue 1. The cover for issue 1 shows the main 6 looking at their G1 counterparts. While I do like the clash of art styles and the color work here, it's a shame that we're not actually going to get it in this issue. We're going to have to wait a while for this to happen. Also, I love how the logo at the top uses that retro font everyone's been using recently, because nothing screams nostalgic like the Cooper Black font. The comic itself begins at a place called Gloom Volcano, with a sign outside declaring trespassers will be eaten by Trench. That is absolutely true. You don't want to test Austin Trench. I mean, would you mess with a guy who's a skeleton in a straitjacket? As we're introduced to these two girls, Grackle and Dyer. So get a load of this. They're supposed to be the granddaughters of the Cloris Leachman witch from the original 80s MLP theatrical movie. All the things I could ask right now, I'm gonna go with this one. The witches from the 80s My Little Pony movie somehow found time to have kids and become mothers? While their moms are away at some kind of gathering of other wicked evildoers, they're told to watch over the volcano home, do chores, not throw parties or order pizza, and of course destroy their pony enemies. Those ponies are the reason we're stuck in this depressing dump. Ever since Gran played one tiny prank on them years and years ago. Right? Those prancing pests act like it was the end of the world or something. I mean, they said it was a social experiment and everything. You think they would have accepted that it was just a prank, bro? But now we can pay them back. With interest.
What are you talking about? Interest?
Meanwhile, in the world of G4, we see our main ponies as they're starting to feel swamped from their teaching jobs, what with Pinky having to fill in for Applejack, who's been busy with her farm duties. After Fluttershy and Rarity voice their own grievances, Starlight chalks it up to being outnumbered by the growing number of students. Something has to change, and soon. Starlight, you know I'm on your side and all, but please don't use mind control, because the last time you tried it, it did not end well. Back with the witches, they continue to show off their quirky teenage girl personalities and their love of pizza. One of them is the nerdy type who enjoys anime conventions and Halloween parties, and the other is the wild card sporting a leather jacket.
My goodness. My waifu senses are tingling.
It's also revealed that Trench is the name of their pet rat. The first phase of their plan is to send him to the Pony World and collect some insider information, because apparently they actually can give him the ability to travel through time and space.
Makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Trench arrives in Equestria as Starlight, Sunburst, and a couple of the other ponies discuss how to fix their problem, and leave it to Rainbow Dash of all ponies to pitch a genuinely good idea, suggesting that they should just hire more teachers.
No, really? You think? That is some real problem-solving skills right there.
As soon as the witches receive this information, they decide that they'll create some ponies out of the remnants of the Smooths and send them to, quote, make things weird. And apparently the road to retrieve this world's Smooths remains looks like Candyland.
Huh. Between this and the Hungry Hungry Hippos reference from the 2017 movie...
I've heard they're surprisingly graceful for their size. But they're always hungry.
Hungry? Hippos?
Subtle, Hasbro. Very subtle.
Back with the G4 ponies, Starlight is happy to report that they have 3 takers for potential professor positions. Rainbow Dash, you were right! We just got a letter from Havard Unicorniversity! Okay, that is a stretch for a pony pun. I already don't care for the horse puns in this series as it is, but come on! Havard Unicorniversity. I mean, university is already a word in this show's vocabulary. You didn't need to go the extra mile with that one. The gang then make a rat race to prepare a welcome party for the professors from Havard. Dash, fly up and help with the banner. Sunburst, put the school maps on the table. And Pinky, those cupcakes look amazing.
Oh god, seriously? Amazing? And the worst part of it is they actually use that one several times later.
And so, issue 1 ends with the 3 Smooths ponies arriving. You must be the new professors.
Well, we certainly aren't cheerleaders. No, we're just here to join the school soccer team.
Issue 2's cover shows a group shot of the evil DeviantArt OC Smooths ponies. As they realize they're in Ponyville, as opposed to Ponyland from the 80s show, they're soon given Pinkie Pie's welcome wagon. She gives them a tour of the school, asks them a bunch of annoying questions, and forces them to eat cupcakes. Despite how blatantly evil these guys are, they manage to fool our heroes and soon discuss things in their private quarters.
I thought we'd never get rid of her. I have no idea how these creatures survive on garbage they call cupcakes.
Hey, consider yourselves lucky that Cupcakes isn't canon, because if it was, you would have actually just eaten pony meat. Back with the witches, they receive a condescending letter from their mothers, and they just now realize that they may have sent the Smooths ponies to the wrong world.
Oh god, can you imagine if they ended up in the world of the G3 ponies? Then they'd probably show them what real conflict looks like.
They open up a portal and sit their Smooths ponies down, or as they call them, Smonies. Yes, really. Their plan involves destroying their town by turning ponies against each other. Okay, so like what Chrysalis, T-Rex, and Cozy Glow did in the Season 9 2-part finale? Yeah, because that worked so well for them, didn't it? What with being turned into stone and all. Okay, their plan is a little different than that. The plan is to have the Smooths ponies infiltrate academically and make the students do a bunch of bad things, starting by baking a bunch of cookies with spoopy faces.
I'm not making that up either. They actually call them spoopy cookies later.
As well as pull harsh pranks on one another. Rarity notices this and asks Starlight to look into it. Starlight notices Black Belle teaching the kids in what is an obviously evil spell, including the chant, "Conjure, conjure, here to me, take the form of an evil tree." As Starlight tries to ask about the incredibly obvious villainy, Black Belle lies, saying that the students at Havard are typically taught stuff like this, and that maybe Ponyville students aren't sophisticated enough for such a lesson. And then Starlight just backs down and allows the lessons to go through. Please tell me she's gonna tell Twilight about this. She can't actually let this kind of thing fly, can she? The witches start to get impatient, so they send a letter to the Smooths ponies to speed up their plan. Step it up, or we'll turn this volcano into a glue factory.
And just like that, these guys have become the most threatening villains in the entire series. Move over, gods of chaos and minotaur centaur deities. You just got outclassed by a couple of goofy teen girl witches that are threatening to turn horses into glue.
So they get to work turning Ponyville against each other. They brainwash the Wonderbolts to turn on Spitfire, turn the apples against each other by freezing their harvest, tamper with local establishments like the Hay Burger and the bowling alley, and getting students to pull horrific pranks on each other. And issue 2 ends with the evil OCs gloating to themselves about their current success.
Trench, go tell our masters that the Smonies are about to be unbridled. You know, if we stop to examine every single bad horse pun that's in this comic, we're going to be here forever, so let's just move on to issue 3.
Not much to say about this cover. It's just Violet Shiver looking menacing and Pinky looking spooked in the background. looks good for what it is. Works considering that these two have some key interactions in this issue. Issue 3 begins with Fluttershy trying to give a lesson to the students on these creatures called Shriek-Yowls, which kind of look like Pokemon, and apparently have special abilities like them too, seeing how they spit out this sticky substance as a means to defense. Point is, their defense goo is triggered as the students start acting like jerks thanks to the learnings they've got from the Smooze ponies. As the rest of the ponies notice the students' outbursts, the mayor brings them to point out how the town is going to hell in a handbag. They begin to speculate who could possibly be behind all of this. Could Lord T-Rex be behind this? Nope, he's still trapped in stone. Maybe some of the changelings? I really don't think so, Starlight. Some pony is using weather magic and... What if it doesn't matter who's behind it? What do you mean? Friends disagree. It's normal. It doesn't mean some pony is out to get Ponyville. That's true, but how did things get so bad all of a sudden?
Because that's how most of your adventures go.
Pinkie makes some comparison to friendship being like a knot in string, and says that they should try to bring all the angry ponies together by throwing a party. And honestly, that's not a terrible idea. If it can turn all the bad guys into good guys at the end of Shrek the Third, it'll totally work for you guys. Back with the witches, they're throwing some rotting fruit at pictures of the ponies, and they soon get the troubling news the ponies are going to throw a party to bring all of Ponyville together again. I mean, what do they think? That you fix problems like that? Some music and dancing and playing Pin the Magma on the Village is going to turn everything around? Do they play that? How should I know? Do I look like I've ever been to a party? Do I look like I even have friends?
Never had friends before, huh? They're going to get a redemption, aren't they? Yep. Knew it.
As Pinkie talks to Dash about the upcoming events, the Smooze ponies arrive and dump Violet Shiver onto Pinkie to sabotage the party. Twilight finally plays a major role in the story as she decides to join Pinkie's little party planning committee, as Violet gets to work putting a dark spell on the decorations. Also, this little visual gag of her first attempt at streamers being little skulls, that's adorable, in a Tim Burton Hot Topic kind of way. Twilight notices Violet's obvious villainy, but Pinkie accuses her of being jealous and close-minded. Later that afternoon, the two begin to snap at each other while decorating until Zecora shows up, as she picks up the bad aura that the decor is giving off. Their unfamiliar magic is causing such tension. My current guess, it's from another dimension.
It's gonna get a little weird, gonna get a little wild. I ain't from around here, I'm from another dimension.
Twilight tries to test the streamer's dark magic after Zecora analyzes it, because according to her, magic and science are one and the same, and Twilight turns into an evil plant-like pony.
Twilight Sparkle is not here anymore. There is no Twilight Sparkle, only Zool.
After Zecora defeats the Dark Smooze magic by tricking possessed Twilight into a river where it washes off of her, Twilight comes to the conclusion it's some kind of smooze, but not like Discord smooze. Well, I'm glad to see they acknowledge that the smooze in G4 is different than the G1 smooze. And so, issue 3 ends with Zecora cooking up a brew that opens a dimensional doorway that'll bring the main six to the realm of G1. And of course, it looks like one giant toy advertisement.
We're halfway through the comic, and we're finally getting to the big crossover that they were building up, so let's see how these worlds collide in issue 4.
So the cover to this one depicts the main six dancing on a rainbow, much like the opening to the 80s cartoon in a neat little homage. Both groups notice each other, and Pinkie ends up falling off a ledge as the G1 ponies come to their aid. And sadly, since I know this, I can't help but point out that that pony looks like Minty from G3, and that one kind of looks like Bon Bon from the 90s My Little Pony Tales show. Appropriate, since her and Pinkie seem to get along, since they're supposed to be the token weird ones. You know what I thought it was? Aliens! Like, no way! I love aliens! I take it that you're both fans of that one guy from the History Channel. Anyway, the next few pages is the G1 ponies recounting the events of the movie and their encounter with the witches and the Smooze. And it seems the G1 ponies are more than interested to make a plan to help save Equestria, as they'll use their combined rainbow friendship lasers to take the Smooze ponies down. Also, Applejack meeting Applejack. That's cute. Back with the witches, they get a letter from their ungrateful mothers, which makes Grackle throw a fit, but she is calmed down with tacos. I don't understand why nothing is ever good enough for them. Just look at the ponies. They're fighting like they're on Real Housewives of Equestria.
Real Housewives reference for the win? Seriously, what the hell is that reference?
Back with the Smooze ponies, it seems that they're slowly becoming good guys. Violet actually likes helping with party decorations, and Black Belle seems to like the fact that her students look up to her. Doesn't stop them from trying to use their dark magic to destroy Ponyville, though. As the main seven and the G1 ponies make it back to Ponyville, they realize something that might help save the day, using makeshift elements of harmony that could combine the rainbow lasers into one giant friendship blast. Oh, and it seems that Opal got in her claws on Trench and possibly ate him. Or, wait, no, he actually escaped getting eaten as he gets back to the witches to tell them that the ponies are planning their defeat. And they're officially ready to head down and raise hell themselves as they find out the Smooze ponies seem to be warming up to the Ponyville ponies. As Dyer finally realizes that they might be cursed against using their own magic, but they have one special ability on their side, Grackle's angry fire powers.
I'm the fear addicted, danger illustrated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. You're the fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter.
The crossover elements so far have been pretty cool, so let's see how the story properly wraps up in issue 5. Issue 5's cover shows the Smooze ponies looking menacing and stuff. I hate to downplay these covers because they're not bad or anything, but barely anything happens on them. The first issue's cover was probably the most creative, but we had to actually wait for something like that to happen in the comics themselves. The final issue proper starts with the ponies testing their rainbow lasers on the G1 ponies, who test the Smooze's dark magic. And apparently that actually is Minty from G3, seeing how they call her that by name. Awesomely though, you get to see her get corrupted by dark Smooze magic and begins fighting Lickety Split is apparently that one's name.
You know what? The comic up until this point's been pretty good, but yeah, that just made it worth it. A G3 My Little Pony just got corrupted by dark magic and threatened to destroy her enemies. Totally worth it.
As the witches arrive in Equestria, they are immediately taken by the smell of sweets coming from Sugar Cube Corner, shortly before being chased away by some pissed-off ponies. Pinkie finds Violet as she begins to regret her wrongdoings, but things soon escalate as she's possessed by the Smooze's dark magic.
Hope no one minds that I have a +1.
You didn't have +1. It's $200 a plate.
The witches do some snooping through the bushes as they come face to face with the two other Smooze ponies, as they begin to notice all the cool, retro things that Ponyville has, like arcade cabinets, roller derbies, and Halloween stores.
Now, I was joking earlier, but I actually am glad that these guys are going to get a redemption arc, because, I mean, they don't even really seem like they want to be evil. They're just a couple of girls that want to have fun. Cyndi Lauper would be so proud.
After noticing the effects the dark magic has on the ponies once they get hostile with one another, as well as saving Ocellus from a fight at Sugar Cube Corner, they head off to the party, as it seems Rarity has given their G1 friends some newly made dresses. Rarity, you've outdone yourself. Well, our special friends do deserve a bit of pampering, don't you think? We tried to tell her it wasn't necessary, but I guess you know how she is.
Yeah, right. The G1 ponies would be more than happy to do makeovers and dress-ups and stuff like that. That's pretty much what they did most of the time, if they weren't trying to stop giant monsters from taking over / destroying the land. My point still stands.
Then it seems the witches made it to the party, sporting a two-person horse costume, of course. As the party begins, the wannabe Audrey 2 begins to unleash its evil. The partygoers make a break for it as the main six hang back to fight it. As the evil foliage begins to grow stronger, it starts to tear the ground apart, and the bad guys have a change of heart once the Smooze ponies save the witches, as well as the students from certain doom. Leave my barely adequate, painfully ordinary, precious students alone!
How sweet, Belle. I didn't know you cared.
But soon the evil dark magic plant things are destroyed by the combined powers of the main six, the G1 ponies, and even Grackle's fire powers once they've officially turned into good guys. I wanted to make our moms happy, and for what? What was so bad? Their exile gave them a home, gave them us. They wanted revenge for that. I created you to hurt others. I made you out of my own anger, and that was wrong. I didn't know what we were destroying, what was at risk.
You're just a little girl with a few magic tricks. You're going to need much more than that to take me on.
She's got us. All of us. And like that, the evil dark magic plants are defeated through the magic of friendship, the Smooze ponies are now good guys and kept on as teachers, and the G1 ponies make amends with the witches, even inviting them to join them in their world for any future adventures, and so the comic ends with everyone continuing their rockin' party.
That was My Little Pony Generations, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Overall, these comics were pretty fun. It has a decent amount of build-up in the first few issues, and finally has a fun little crossover event with the G1 ponies near the end. I also appreciate that they gave the witches plenty of time to develop as characters, much like their mothers in the 80s movie. I also really liked the redemption story they were given. It actually didn't feel too forced or rushed. As soon as they're introduced, you can tell they don't really want to be bad guys, they just want to live up to their mothers who don't seem pleased with them at all. So once they actually see friendship on full display, they embrace it with open hearts. And the same can be said for the Smooze ponies. They start off as bad guys, but once they're shown genuine friendship by Pinky and the students, they actually change their ways. The crossover element works well enough, though it is a shame that we don't really see that much of their G1 counterparts, aside from the G1 Applejack and Surprise cameos in issue 4.
Yeah, where was Firefly, Daisy, Sparkler, or even G1 Twilight Sparkle? Granted, G1 Twilight Sparkle did eventually become the mother of G4 Twilight Sparkle, but still, that could have been something in the comic.
Aside from a few nitpicks like that and the overabundance of corny horse puns in the beginning of the comic, the artwork, story, and pacing alone is enough for me to give it a solid recommendation. I'm the Media Whiz because one art form wasn't enough, and I'm gonna go see where those guys went. I think they went this way. Hey, kid.
Oh, hi, Media Whiz. I take it you liked the comic?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Do you know where Future Whiz went?
Last time I checked, he's in the vendor rooms.
Gotcha. Listen, I'm gonna go look for him, and then I'm gonna bring him back here, and then we can decide what we want to do, all right?
Sounds good. Until then, I'll just sit here and keep reading my manga.
All right, good. Just don't move, and if you do, please call me in advance.
Okie dokie, Loki.
Hiya!
Oh, hi.
Ooh, what you reading?
Oh, the My Little Pony manga omnibus.
Is it any good?
Yeah, I'm liking it so far.
Well, that's good to hear.
Are you a fan of My Little Pony?
Yep, I'm like a sister. You could say I'm a fangirl.
Oh, Pony fangirl? As in Penny?
Yep.
Yay!
Something bad is coming down. Have you heard the news? Listen up. Giant spiders running high. Nothing can stop the Smooze.
You can't stop me.
See the way it slithers forth, spewing down the roof.